Right. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I hope you can all hear me. Good evening, everybody. Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. Good evening, Busayo. Good evening, Lois. All right. Thank you very much. I trust we are all doing very well, and I hope we are prepared for tonight. Yes. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I want us to wait. Give those that might be coming late a grace of 2 to 3 minutes, and then we will kick off. We'll kick off immediately by 8:08 by own time, by my local time. Yes. All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So while we are waiting to start in the next 1 minute, please, if you attempted to practice some of the things we discussed in the last class, please just write something about it, what the experience was like in the comment section, and if you had any problem, now is also a good time to register it in the comment section.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's the director of every sector is there. So he said he wants to come.
Okay, Blessing said she didn't attempt it because she did not understand. All right, that is fine. That is fine. There's no problem. We are going to demystify that tonight.
But why would they
We are going to demystify that
I think we
tonight.
have gone through the
Okay.
agenda that I shared with you. Yes. So we following that same agenda.
Okay, so it is 8:08 by my local time already, so I believe we can start. All right,
So why would
good evening, everybody. I trust we are all doing very well. It is evening here in Nigeria, so good evening, everybody. Once again, if you are joining us from other part of the world, good day to you. Yes, today we'll be touching virtualization as a follow-up to our previous class. We'll be discussing virtualization as a follow-up to our previous class, where we introduced the concept of virtualization and how it will come handy for us as security professional. So, a brief introduction for those who might be seeing me for the very first time or hearing me for the very first time. My name is Emmanuel Akobe Ajipolu. I am a Christian. I am a penetration tester. Sometimes work as a security analyst, and I have a couple of certifications to my belt. So thank you very much. I work for a company here in Nigeria, Abuja, Nigeria, with the name Cyber Plural, and I'm a graduate of the Federal University of Technology, Mina. Yes, that is Emmanuel for you. Okay, I think, please, can you all hear me? Please, can you all hear me now? Please, can you all hear me better now?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Give me a minute.
Yes. Maybe you want to do that.
Hello, can you hear me now? Please, can everybody hear me clearly now? Please let me know. All right, thank you very much. Okay, I believe the sound is better now. I think it was the network. Okay, so thank you all very much. So I just introduced myself. Today we'll be trying as much as possible not to waste time so we can cover as much as we can. So our agenda for today is to introduce what a virtual home lab is. And in order for us to do this, we'll be talking about a technology known as virtualization. We'll also be talking about hypervisors, and then after discussing this, we'll be touching a little bit on the hardware requirements, the software requirements, and then we'll all be doing the lab setup together, even while in this class. All right, so let's jump to it. So, what is a virtual home lab? Please, if this is your first time of hearing about virtualization, please let me know. And if you've heard about virtualization before now, or maybe after the last class you went to make a couple of research about what virtualization is, what an hypervisor is, because I remember mentioning that in the last class. Please let me know in the comment section. All right, so nobody did any research about virtualization. We mentioned VirtualBox and VMware Workstation in the last class. Okay, I have somebody who said she has heard about it before. Okay, all right. Okay, okay. Somebody said virtual home lab could be virtual study lab. Yeah, that's very true. Cybersecurity involves you. Um, for a lot of us, cybersecurity involves us breaking into systems. So we need to figure out a way that we can securely break into system without landing in trouble. So that's one of the benefit of virtual home lab. So let's jump straight to it. I think we've taken enough answers from the comment section. So a virtual home lab is a simulation environment that typically consists of a virtualization software running on a personal computer or server, right? It is usually set up by an individual, right, to simulate various computing environments, create and manage what we call virtual machines or a virtual network. Now, having a home lab helps both enthusiasts and seasoned ITs or cybersecurity professionals to hone their skills, experiment, and also conduct research in a controlled and secured environment. So, one of the very first problem you might run into, right, in cybersecurity after learning a few skills is always where to practice. Oh, how do I practice how to hack a system? How do I practice how to hack a website? How do I practice how to protect a system without necessarily getting being employed, right? I do not want to learn on the job. I do not want to make my mistake in public, right? A virtual home lab is where you get to practice all of this. I hope you can all hear me, right? So that being said, right, in order for you to set or create your own virtual home lab, you need to make use of a particular technology which is known as what virtualization, right? Please, I hope everybody can hear me. All right, let's continue. Okay, so like I was saying, you need to practice. You need to virtual home lab is an environment where you can safely and easily practice all of the things you are learning as a cybersecurity professional. A virtual home lab is also where you get to build your skill. It is where you get to hone your skill without getting into trouble. So now, home lab. Now, your home lab empowers you to gain practical insights that theoretical learning alone cannot match. So we are not just going to be saying, "Oh, this is possible, that is possible," right? Maybe just theoretically speaking. We are going to be practicing, and this practice is going to be done in each and everybody's virtual home lab. And also, I will be introducing a couple of platforms to us where we can also practice some of the things that we'll be learning in this class. So you'll be tinkering with various technologies, software configurations, and network setup, right? Honing your skills as you go. Now, by leveraging virtualization software, you maximize your resources. Now, for some of us who have like super strong systems, right? For some of us who have like super strong system, right? Maybe your system is 32 gig RAM, your system is 16 gig RAM, right? You are going to put all of these resources to use. You are going to put all of these resources to use. Now you can effortlessly set up and manage multiple virtual machines on a single physical host, all without breaking the bank at an extra cost of hardware. Now, some of the benefits of having a home lab. Now, some of the benefits of having a home lab include hands-on experience and skill development. A home allows you as a user to gain practical experience that will otherwise be difficult to obtain through just theoretical learning alone. Now, by experimenting with different technologies and software and network setting, right, it is possible for you to become better as a cybersecurity professional. Now, also at the same time, you also get to cultivate and expand your skill set along the way. Now, also, virtual home lab brings about cost effectiveness, right? Now, setting up a home lab is more cost effective. So you don't have to buy a Windows 10 system when you want to practice how to hack on a Windows 10 system or hack into a Windows 10 system. You don't have to then go to buy another Windows 7 system, or you have to buy your own server, right? Set up your own server. No, no, no. You don't have to do all of that. Now, with the help of virtualization, you can actually do all of this at no cost other than the cost of getting a good system. Now, with the help of virtualization software, users can easily create and manage multiple virtual machines on a single physical host without having to purchase additional hardware. Now we have flexibility and customization. Now, your home lab enables you as the user to meet specific learning or testing requirements by granting them full control over the hardware and software resources. This allows them to customize and configure the setup according to their need. So now, from time to time, maybe when you learn a cool hack or when you learn something, whenever you learn something, right, you might want to practice, okay, how does it work in this situation? How does it work under this circumstance? Now you get to practice all of this from your virtual home lab. Okay. All right. For those who are having issues seeing the text on the slide, please can you increase your video quality so you can so you get to see the slide clearly. So thank you very much. Now, your testing and experimentation is the next thing. Now, as a users can safely test new softwares, configurations, and technology without incurring any damage to their personal computer or data. Additionally, virtualization or a virtual home lab allows the users to validate changes or solutions before implementation in a real or live environment. Yeah. So now, what is virtualization? Virtualization that Emmanuel has been talking about. What exactly is this technology called virtualization? Right? So in computing, virtualization of it is sometimes, which is sometimes abbreviated as V12N, right? Or this is the act of creating a virtual rather than an actual version of something at the same abstraction level, including virtual computer hardwares, programs, virtual computer hardware platforms, storage devices, and computer network resources. Now, this was gotten from Wikipedia. So, what I'm trying to say here is, right, it is possible, like I said in the last time, right, to have a Windows 10 inside, to have multiple operating system inside just one operating system. All right. Yeah. So this is brought about by virtualization. This is made possible by virtualization. Okay, I still see a lot of persons complaining of my slide. Give me a minute. Let me increase my font size. Let me quickly increase my font size. I believe that will help. All right, guys. All right, guys, please let me know if you can see my slide better now. All right, all right. Thank you, Samuel. Samuel said it is better now. Okay, okay. So I believe we can continue. All right. So virtualization is the ability to abstract or separate the operating system from the physical hardware, right? It is a technology used to create virtual representation of servers, of network, of storage, and other physical machines by sharing a single physical machine hardware resource, which include the memory, the processing power, and the storage with one or more virtual machines. It also removes limitation often associated with physical hardware such as storage space, cost, and scalability. So, what am I saying? What I'm saying here is that with the concept of the technology called virtualization, it is actually possible for you to set as many as possible systems that you want to practice whatsoever knowledge it is that you are going to gain during this training, right? As a security professional, right, you want to safely practice things, you want to safely hone your skill. Now, you are going to be taking advantage of this technology called virtualization. Now, you might be wondering, okay, what is Manuel trying to say? If you go back in history, right, in the computing history, right, before it used to be large computer, right, and then a lot of people would be coming rather, right, and then computer evolved over time, evolved to what we have today. And now, initially, right, somebody has to set up a server, and then after setting up the server, if you want to do another thing, you have to get another server in order for you to do this. Now, you agree with me that we are in a generation where there's something called virtual hosting, where just an organization or an individual can own a single server, right, and then share different resources in this server to different people. Now, that is made possible by the technology called virtualization, right? This is made possible by the technology called virtualization. So, in as much as this is possible at the server level, it is also possible for you to replicate this on your own computer. Are you following? So that was exactly, which is exactly what I did the last time when you saw that, oh, Emmanuel had multiple operating system. Inside this operating system, at some point you saw me using a Windows 10. At another point, you saw me switching to a Windows server. I hope we're all following. Please let me know if you are following the build up in the comment section. Right. So this is made possible by the concept of what virtualization. Now, in order for you to be able to practice or implement this virtualization, right, you make use of of another technology known as hypervisor. So, what is an hypervisor? Right? A hypervisor is a layer of software, right, that sits between the hardware and a virtual machine. That means for you to be able to create virtual machines, for you to be able to create virtual network, for you to be able to create virtual storage, you need a particular software known as what? As an hypervisor. Now, a hypervisor is a crucial component of virtualization technology that allows multiple virtual machines, right, known as VMs, to run on a single physical machine. Now, so the last time when I suggested two softwares to us, which is VirtualBox and VMware Workstation, those particular software that I recommended, right, they are called hypervisors. Do you understand? So an example of, think of it as let's say ride hailing service. Over here in Nigeria, we have two very popular ride hailing services, right? Which is Bolt and Uber, right? They actually perform the same service, right? They render the same service to their customers, but they have different models where they render this service to people. So it is exactly the same thing that is happening when we come to virtualization or hypervisors. Virtualization is the service that we want to render. Now, hypervisor, right, is the software. Now we have different companies or different vendors that are making this possible to we as users, right? So we have different companies or different vendors that make this possible for us, but two very popular ones are VirtualBox from Oracle VirtualBox, and we have VMware Workstation. So hypervisors are also known as virtual machine monitors, right? And they can manage and allocate the resources of your computer, which includes the CPU, includes your memory, and includes your storage. All of the underlying hardware, right, to individual virtual machines as required. Now, just as how a traffic cop, right, can keep traffic moving efficiently and safely, the hypervisor keeps virtual machines running smoothly and prevents them from getting interference with each other on the physical machine. So I have a quick question I would like to address from the comment section. So U- Uchechi Mata asked that, oh, if I got you right, Mr. Emmanuel, do you mean that Windows 10 that can operate as Windows 7 can be termed as virtualization? Not necessarily, right? What we are doing is that inside our Windows 10, we can actually have another Windows 7 running inside the Windows 10. And the Windows 7 is not going to interrupt how the Windows 7, sorry, I've gotten it mixed up. Inside the Windows 10 machine, inside the Windows 10 computer, we can have another virtual computer, which could be a Windows 7 computer. Now, whenever we want to use this Windows 7 computer, we can go to it and use it. And when we are done, we can turn it off virtually. All of this is virtual. Yes, any computer. You can do this on any computer. So I'll quickly stop sharing this screen and show you my own computer to make this to further explain this concept to us. So give me a minute, let me quickly navigate. Give me a minute, let me quickly switch my screen to the one I want to share with us. Okay, everybody, please confirm if you can see a new black screen. Can you see the black screen I'm displaying? All right. Tony said you can see it. All right, so you see this interface that I have displayed right now is my hypervisor. right? I'm using a hypervisor technology. Sorry, I'm using a hypervisor called VM Workstation, right? Now you can see that inside here now, I have a Windows 10 here. If I want to use this Windows 10, I can turn it on and use it. I have a Windows server here. Can you see Windows Server 2022? If I want to use this, I can turn it on. I can turn it off. If I want, I could delete it. I could right click on this, right? If I'm done with it, I could move to manage and then I can delete it if I want, right? I have an Ubuntu server here. Whenever I want to practice anything that has to do with Ubuntu, or I want to do any hacking that has to do with Ubuntu, I could also start this. If I'm done with it, I can delete it. Now, the one of the benefit of this is that, okay, if I make any mistake in the process of hacking, I can delete and quickly set up another virtual machine. Are you all following? So you need to know how to set this up. We are going to be setting this kind of environment up for you. You understand? We are going to be doing this together so that on your own now, in your own time, after this class, you can go and then you can start practicing all of this, all of what we are going to be teaching you rather. Okay, so I will move back to my slide now and continue the explanation. Okay, so now we have different types of hypervisors. So there are two main types of hypervisor. We have the type 1 hypervisor and the type 2 hypervisor, right? Each of them is different in architecture and their performance. Now, the type 1 hypervisor now, this is the type of hypervisor that runs directly on the physical hardware without the need for a host operating system, right? It is also known as bare metal or kernel-based hypervisor because it acts as a lightweight operating system that sits on top of the metal server and has direct access to the hardware resources, right? As a result, type 1 hypervisor provides better performance and efficiency due to its architecture. Example of type 1 hypervisor includes VMware EXSI, Zen Server, Linux KVM, and Microsoft Hyper-V. So this type 1 hypervisor majorly, right, it is used by corporate organization. Majorly it is used by corporate organization, right? So what they do is they install this directly on the physical computer, right? Directly on the server hardware, right? So let's move on before I move to explaining some other things. So then we have type 2 hypervisor, right? Type 2 hypervisor is often known as hosted hypervisor and it runs as an application within a host operating system of a physical computer. So this particular hypervisor that you saw me using, right, a few minutes back is a type 2 hypervisor because it is running inside my operating system, right? Type 2 hypervisor requires the host operating system to manage hardware resources because it does not have complete control of the computer resources, and this leads to significantly reduced performance compared to type 1 hypervisor. So example of type 2 hypervisor include VMware Workstation and Oracle VirtualBox. So now type 2 hypervisor has to be installed on an operating system. So this will definitely make it slower than the type 1 hypervisor, which you install directly on the computer hardware. This I hope we are all following. I hope you're all following the build up. Now, in order for you to be able to do this, there's something called hardware requirements. You need a couple of you need to meet like a minimal hardware requirements for you to be able to set up this kind of environment that we are trying to explain. So to host or install a virtual machine, certain hardware requirements must be met. Below are the general requirements for setting up a virtual machine. So first of all, we are like I said already, we are going to be using type 2 hypervisor for this class, right? So the first thing you need a host operating system. Now, what kind of operating system can you use for this? You can either use a Windows operating system, a Linux operating system, or Mac OS in order for you to be able to do this. Now, you need CPU. Now, you need a reasonably powered x86 hardware, right? With virtualization technology is required, right? So a decent Intel or AMD processor should do for this. Then for performance and speed, a multi-core processor with at least 4 core is the minimum requirement, while 8 core is recommended for higher performance and speed, right? Then you need good RAM. You need good RAM. So a minimum of 8 gig RAM system is required. But however, if you have 16 gig or more, right, it is very good. It will work very well. Now for your storage, you need a minimum of 20 gigs of RAM, right? For each virtual machine that you will be setting up, right? But 50 gig or more is recommended due to factors such as the size of the VM, the applications installed on that you'll be installing on the VM, and the amount of data that you are going to be storing inside these VMs, right? So type 2 hypervisors can be set up, right? We'll be we'll be setting this up together, and I'll be walking you through the process of doing this. So, if you have your computer with you, please let's practice this together at this moment. Yes, yes. Okay, so let me quickly attend to some questions before we start setting up our virtual home lab together. Right. So someone was asking the problem now. Okay, if you have a MacBook, you can follow along. You can follow along. Just that your own experience might be a bit different from what most of us will be experiencing during this class. Yes. Okay. Oh, someone is Florence is asking how best can I possibly practice this virtualization on my phone. So I don't think you can follow very well in this class using your phone. So we advise that you have a good computer, right? Minimum of 8 gig RAM. But if you have 4 gig RAM, like I said the last time, you can still try to follow us. Just that you will experience significantly slow environments. Okay, so it must not be core i7. If any core that you have, right, you can manage with it. Yes, you will need a lot of data because you will be downloading a lot of things for you to be able to follow up with this class. Okay, so I believe I've answered all the questions. So let's get to business. So I'll be showing you these different hypervisors and how you can get them. Yes, you can use Core i7 16 gig RAM. That is a perfect system for this. So first of all, if you want to use VirtualBox, you can download it from their official website. So let's go to VirtualBox website. So this is VirtualBox website, right? And then you can download the one that applies to your system. So for those that might be wondering, how do I do this? What you will simply do, let me increase this, is to go to Google and search download VirtualBox, right? Then we have this. Now you click on any of these, right? But let's click on this very first one. So let's open it in the same. Let me close this. So you can see now we have this here. This, I'm increasing my screen size so everybody can see what I am displaying. So if you have your laptop, please try as much as possible to follow along with me. I will try my possible best to be as slow and steady with this, right? So when you come here now, depending on what operating system you are using, so you can download VirtualBox. So you can see there's VirtualBox for Windows, for those that are using Windows computer. You can see that there's VirtualBox for Mac, but this is only available for Intel Mac. So if you are using M series, right, you might not be able to download VirtualBox because it will work. Then if you are using a Linux system, you can select this, right? Then Solaris and Solaris 11. So I believe most of the students in this class are using Windows host. So we are going to click on Windows host. Now, after clicking on this, now you can see that it is downloading the VirtualBox for me. So I will pause this, right? And allow us to download the system, the VirtualBox. So I'm going to wait for 2 minutes and then I will show us how to download VMware. So it is left for you to choose whichever one it is that you want to use. If you prefer VirtualBox, please feel free to use VirtualBox. If you prefer VMware, feel free to use VMware. So like I said, it is just like ride-hailing service. You have Bolt and you have Uber. So whichever one you want to use is a matter of personal preference. All right, so I can see a couple of persons who are already practicing and following along. Yeah, that's very nice and encouraging. Thank you. All right, thank you, Jacinta. All right, so if you are done downloading, right, you can also install it now. You can install it if you are done downloading. It is very straightforward for Windows users. Click install, then follow the prompt, next, 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 and then you should have it all set up. So that is it for Oracle VirtualBox. So I will be showing you the one I am using, which is known as VMware, right? VMware Workstation. So here is VMware Workstation, right? So if we click on this now, we have this. This is the website. So you can see we can download. So let me increase my font size again for those who might not be seeing it correctly, clearly, right? So we have it here. So download. So this is the link, but let's do it like somebody who does not have the link. So download VMware Workstation, right? So we have this. So VMware Workstation, we have this. Yes. So let's click on this. So you can see that this page. So you can select download Fusion or Workstation. So it's bringing us, is redirecting us to another website. So this is access.broadband, right? So we have this. Yes, you can choose either VirtualBox or VMware, whichever one you prefer. So just test the two, whichever one you prefer, then you choose whichever one. Yes, whichever of the two. So we have this now. So this is redirecting us to this website where we are going to be downloading it. But for you to use this website, you need to first create an account with them. So I already have my account with them. So I'm just going to come here, right? You can see that I have my account here. So select this, remember me, next. Then, so this is my password, right? Then sign in. So for those who might be doing this for the very first time, right, you might need to enter in some details for you for them to know who you are and stuff like that. So after doing that, now you come here, then we have download. You can see there's a dashboard, other options. So if you come to all products here, let's select all products. Okay, let's come back to dashboard since this is not working like we want it to. So now at the dashboard, right, search the entire site, right? If you come here now and we search VMware Workstation, so you can see these options, right? VMware Workstation, Player, Pro. So we select Pro. Okay. So we have this up. We have this now. So let's select this, right? Okay. Let me increase my font size, right? So we have all of this information. When you will scroll down, right, and then you can see, scroll down, coming, this is too big for me. Oh, sorry, I think I took a wrong route. Sorry, permit me, please. It's asking me to build my profile. Okay. So, okay, I have done this. I'll do this later. So when you select all products, sorry, this just is not working the way we expect tonight. So let's just keep right. After selecting this, you get to search for the product, then you get to download the VMware workstation. So you can see if you should check my history. Okay, I think there's a little bit of site maintenance happening. So if not, I have some downloads in my history. But let's search for product name VMware Workstation. Right. Okay, I think the site is undergoing maintenance, so some things are not working as expected. But it's the same process. As soon as you download, then you click, and then you have it installed on your system. So that is how to download and this is how to download and install VirtualBox and VMware, right? So guys, let's take a quick break now. Let's take a quick break now, and then shortly after the break, we will continue on how to set up our own hacking environment. Thank you, guys. All right, guys. Please, can you all hear me? Please confirm in the comment section if you can hear me. So break is over. Please let's get back to our system as we continue. All right. So all right. So after downloading and installing your hypervisor, the next thing that we want to do is to set up a virtual machine in our what in our environment, right? So we need to download any operating system of choice. So let's say, for example, if I want to set up a Windows 10 virtual machine, I would just search for what download, right, in my Google, right? Download Windows 10, right? Now, Windows make a particular variant. Like Windows has produced us, has provided us a particular variant, a particular version of their operating system that we can use for test purpose, which is known as Windows evaluation. So let's say I want to set up a Windows 10. I'm going to search for download Windows 10 evaluation, right? And then we have this here. So we select this here, and then I'm going to make this big. So you can see download the ISO Enterprise. So we select download ISO Enterprise, right? And then we will put in, we are going to fill in this registration, right, for field trial. So my name is Emmanuel, other things, right? Company Cyber, right? Company size, right? Job role, penetration, desktop, phone number. Yeah, I would not like to receive. No, so then download now. Okay, country. I am a proud Nigerian, right? So yes. Okay, then we have this now. So depending on your system architecture, you can now select the particular variant that you want. So I will be selecting 64-bit edition. So you can see it's downloading here for me now. So my internet is a bit slow. So this is going to take time, but I have already downloaded it before this class. So it's in that internet should be faster. Okay. So we have this working. So I have it downloaded and saved in a particular folder. So I will just give others who are trying to download theirs the grace of 5 minutes. And then after that, once the download is done, we are going to walk through the process of setting up the Windows 10 in our virtual environment together. So let's hold on a bit. All right, so let's continue now. Now that we have waited, okay, somebody's complaining about the data size. Okay, so just try to follow along the class since you can't download it if you don't have enough data. Okay, so cool. So let me change my screen now so we can set it up together. Let me switch my screen. So please, can everybody see my screen now? Okay, so I want to believe you can all see my screen. So once you have, I will be showing this on VMware Workstation. Okay, so someone said,
Yeah, just come to my office now.
so someone is asking, okay, after downloading mine, okay, if you have this error message from VirtualBox in Microsoft Virtual C++ 2019 redistribution package needs to be installed first. So just quickly search for Microsoft VirtualBox C++ 2019 on Google, then go to the appropriate website, download it, and install. After doing that, it should work perfectly fine for you. Okay, so this is not my slide. This is an application. So this is the highest I can zoom in at the moment. Let's okay. Yeah, this is this is the highest we can go. So please you manage this tiny looking interface with me, please, guys. So if you just install VMware Workstation for the very first time, you should be presented with a screen as this, as you can see for me. So I'm using dark theme, that's why it is this way. Yours might be white theme, right? So if you want to create a new virtual machine, you are going to select create a new virtual box, right? Once you select this, then you move this typical option, which is recommended, is good. So you select next, right? So for us now, we will select. There are different ways you can go about this. You could either use from here select ISO image. So let's go this route first. Then we'll also do the second option, the second way of installing the Windows 10. So once you select this now, then you select browse. Once you select browse, you will navigate. Okay, I just noticed that my entire screen is not sharing. Give me a minute, please. Okay, so let's continue. So for this now, we will be selecting create a new virtual machine. Then we have this pop-up window. So typical recommended is very okay. So we select next, right? So over here, like I was trying to explain before, I noticed that my entire screen was not being displayed. We have different ways of going about this. We could either from here use the ISO image, or we can select that we install later. So I will be showing us how to do both of these options. So let's select the very first, use ISO image. So we are going to from here navigate to the folder where we have the ISO Windows 10 ISO image that we downloaded earlier. So to do that, you will just select browse. Now I am using a Linux system, so my file system might be a bit different from yours, but yes, so you select. So for me, I have it in my document folder inside the folder called ISO. So you can see here. So I have Windows 10 image here. So if I select this now, then it is selected here. So you click on next. From here, you could select fill in this detail, blah blah blah. But I don't want us to do this yet, right? So we're using evaluation, right? Remember? So, but we don't have to tamper with any of the information here. So we select next. So yes, after this, then we need to give the virtual machine a name. So we are going to call this Windows 10 for LITA, right? Okay, so we move, select next. Then we need to give it enough space. So for this 50 gig is recommended, so I will just give it 50 gig. But if you don't have enough space, maybe you are managing your space, yes, you can still give it 30 gigs of RAM. Okay, it will still work, but anything from 60 upward is what is recommended for a smooth experience. Then we will leave it as split virtual disk into multiple file. This is good. So we select next. Then we have this here now. So depending on your system configuration, you might want to change a few things here. So over here now, this is the summary of the setting I've done. You can see that I've given it 30 gigs hard of my storage. I've given it is using 2 gigs of RAM, 2048 MB, right? My network configuration, my CPU. Fine. But if you want to tamper with this, you can select customize hardware. Then you are brought here, then you can adjust your RAM. You can adjust the amount of RAM you allocate to it, right? Depending on your system configuration. Then you can come to processor, then adjust the processor, right? But this is very okay for me. So I will select, I will leave it as it is. Then I will select finish. Then you can see that it is creating it now for me, creating virtual disks, creating disks. Okay, so now it is done. So it is booting up now. So if yours is not booting automatically, you can start the virtual machine yourself. So it is very straightforward. So click on this. So you can see now that it is booting up. Okay. So from here, it's just for us to enter the necessary information and our installation should be done in no time, right? So I will select next here since this is the right information. Okay, so you can see that it is running into an error over here. So, okay, this is perfectly normal. So we'll try again, and I'm pretty much sure we should run into an error. Then I will show you how to fix the particular error. So we have Windows 10 evaluation. We select next. Okay, and again we run into this error. Fine. Somebody might be saying, "Oh, Mr. Emmanuel, why are we running into this error?" Now, if you have a normal Windows 10, right, a normal license Windows 10, going through this route is going to work for you, definitely, right? But since we are using the evaluation package, that is why we are running into this error. So what we'll just do now is to stop this system. So you can see I have a shut down operating system here and I have pause. So I'm going to click on this stop button to shut it down. And then since I'm not using it, I'm going to right click on it, move to manage, and I'm going to delete from disk. So now you can see one of the benefits of using a hypervisor. Once you are done with the operating system, if there's any problem with the operating system, you can easily dispose it. So you have disposable machines, right? So let's start the process again. So we'll come to home, we select new virtual machine, right? We select typical is okay, right? Now the second route we do, I will install the operating system later, right? Then we do next. Now over here you supply the detail, right? So we want to install a Windows system, which is Microsoft Windows. Then we have version here, right? We want to install Windows 10 x 64 bits, right? Remember when we were downloading it earlier. So we are good with these options. So we select next. So the name of the virtual machine, Windows 10 LITA. Okay, so we select next. Then for those that might be managing space, 30 gig of RAM will still work. So next. So we have all of these options. Now, if I should use 2 gig of RAM, the installation process is going to be a bit slow. So in order to have enough time, and since I have enough resources, I'm going to increase the RAM space to 4 gigs. 4 gigs of RAM. So I'm going to choose customize hardware and I'm going to move this up over here. So this is okay. So I close. So you can see now that it is 4 gigs of RAM. So I select finish, right? So I close this. So you can see this is it. But remember, I have not yet attached the ISO file to this particular one. So I will just select edit virtual machine, right? Then from there, I'm going to go to CD stroke DVD, right? And then I'm going to select use ISO image. Then I'm going to browse to where the ISO image is. And I'm going to select Windows 10 ISO. So I select open, which is okay. And then I save this. So we are good to go now. So you can see this has been attached. So I'm going to start up the guest operating system now. Okay. So I will click inside of this. Okay, sorry, I was not quick enough to select to start the option. So I'll just quickly restart the system. So start. Oh no, I wasn't still sorry, I got distracted by my second screen. So let's restart this. Then we'll quickly select it. Okay, so we are good. So we quickly hit enter inside of that screen. Okay, so now we are at this screen. So we have this option English, English, US. Okay, so we select next. So install now. Okay, so setup is starting. So you can see that this is taking a little bit of time despite the fact that I am using 4 gigs of RAM. So we have this information here. So I accept the license terms and next. So now we want to install, right? Are we upgrading or we just want to, or we are installing afresh? So we select install Windows only. So we have this option. So you select new and you select apply to create partition for you. So now we have multiple partitions. Then we'll select next. So you can see now that it is installing the Windows operating system. Now I'm doing all of this inside an operating system on its own. So let's give it time and we should be good to go. Okay, so it's coming up.
That's what it's done. I want to do something here. That's what it's done. It's done. Azimaba. Um, I haven't seen the
All right, guys, please can you hear me? Please, can everybody see my screen? Okay, so the installation is almost done. So you can see getting ready. So it's just going to do its thing. So you just leave your laptop to do its thing. Okay, so but pretty much everything is straightforward from here. So once this is done, it's just for you to follow the normal Windows installation. You select your keyboard, you give it a username, and you are very much good to go. So this is how you set up a virtual machine inside your hypervisor, guys. So thank you all very much for tonight. I appreciate your time, and please let's feel free to practice this in our own environment. So for those who have slow internet and were not able to download this, please feel free to go through the class video, and also I will be sharing some resources with us where we can also which can also follow, right, to in order to be able to do what we have done tonight. So thank you all very much. I appreciate your time tonight. Yes.
Oh, it's